Hey besties, today we're going to be trying the Makartt Polygel. And although they've asked multiple times to collaborate, this is not a collaboration and I bought this with my own money. Now the old formula of this polygel had HEMA, this one does not. And after I made my first video about Makartt, they reached out and said they were going to be more committed to ingredient and product and SDS transparency. And so that's great. There are other issues with Makartt that need to be addressed. I hear they're not great to the creators that they work with, but I wouldn't know because I'm not going to work with them. Hi, if you're new here, my name is Ren, and I developed an allergy to HEMA, HPMA, and acrylomorpholine back in October of 2024. And I set out to do obsessive levels of research so that I could continue to use gel products safely. And now I share all of that with you guys. If you haven't already, make sure you check out my SDS master brand document where I list all of the brand's ingredients and link the SDSs for the ones I have. I am a working mom and I share all of this completely for free. So it would mean the absolute world to me if you hit that subscribe button, like and comment for engagement, and follow along for more allergy-friendly tips and recommendations. Let's get into it. Now, y'all know that I have used a Meili in the past and even Puente Polygel from AliExpress, and I've been fine with those, but the problem with a Meili is that it's so like goopy. And if you're a polygel girly, you'll know what I mean. Some people prefer that consistency. I'm not one of them. I like hard polygels that you can like really sculpt. But before we get into trying the polygel, I also want to talk about fear-mongering. And I get called a fear-mongerer at least once a day. But the thing is, I'm trying to do the complete opposite here. I saw a video the other day by Manicures and Mess talking about the rise of air dry polish and people going back to regular polish and abandoning gels. And the thing is, I'm trying to do the complete opposite. I'm trying to keep people in gels and convincing them to do it safely so that they can stay using gels longer. Gels are amazing. I mean, literally the entire reason I started this whole thing and I started making content is because I was so desperate to find gels that would work with my allergy, because I tried going back to regular polish and I literally cried. My nails have sucked since I was a kid, which is why I started getting enhancements like dip when I was 13 years old. Yikes! And at this point, I cannot exist without my nails. I'm really rough on my nails. I do a lot of work around the house. I do a lot of DIY projects, a lot of home renovation. I literally do everything myself, including my own electrical work. I'm the type of person that I will just get into something, learn everything that you can learn about it, and then just do it. So I'm really rough on my nails, and it's gotten to a point where if I don't have my nails, it actually makes it harder to do my regular everyday things. When people get allergies, they are told that they can never use gels again. And I set out to prove that that was not true. And I get comments all the time about, oh, why do you just want to bash brands? Why would you keep using gels if you're allergic? Well, because I can and because I want to. And literally the entire point of my content is to prove that you can still use gels as long as you do it safely and you use the right product. And so fear mongering on brands and gel polish would be like, gel is damaging to your nails. Gel causes cancer because of exposure to the UV, when we all know that the exposure that you get in your UV lamp is significantly less than just from walking outside. And we also know that gel itself does not cause damage or thinning nails. Improper prep and removal does. And now what I noticed in that Manicures and Mess video is that the majority of people making these TikToks about how terrible gel is and why they're going back to regular polish were coming from salons. These were not people that were doing their nails at home or going to independent nail techs. They were going to chop shops. And at these places, at these salons, all they care about is getting you in and out of that chair as quickly as possible. So yes, they are most likely going to destroy your nails in the removal process or the prep process. But that is not gels. Gel is literally just a coating. It does absolutely nothing to the structure or the integrity of your nails because your nails are dead. They don't need to breathe. They don't need to be uncovered. They are dead. They're all dead. It's made out of keratin, the same thing in your hair. Your hair is dead. This is why our nails don't hurt when we cut them. And that is actual fear-mongering. And that is something I will never do, because the entire point of why I do this is because of my love of gels and art with gels, which is significantly easier than regular polish. There are things that are just impossible to do with regular polish, like 3D art, for example. And that is why I'm so passionate about having brands that are responsible, using gels responsibly, and using brands that formulate responsibly. That's not fear-mongering or brand shaming. It's trying to save the nail industry, because the more people that get allergies and believe that they have to stop using gels completely, the less clients you're going to have for nail techs and the less people are going to be buying gel products. So all that to say, there is nothing wrong with gel products if you use them safely, if they're formulated correctly, if they are tested to ensure that they are curing properly, and most importantly, if you do the proper prep and removal to prevent damage to your natural nails. Now, let's get into polygel. As always, we're going to start with a base coat. Never forget a base coat when you're doing polygel, and I'm using the best one ever made, Cutie Base by Light Elegance. Now, I am trying a new method with the sandwich forms. I've seen them all over TikTok, and I'm just really curious because one of my biggest gripes with polygel is the fact that the bottoms always come out wonky. You have to like spend time using the brush. It can get on your skin. So I think this is a great solution if it works. Now, I've seen many different ways of doing this, but I'm just going to do it the easy way as it's meant to be used and just sandwich it. Okay, moment of truth and the most satisfying part of polygel, taking them off, and oh my gosh, that is perfect. What? Okay, I love this. That was super easy. And here it is after a little filing and shaping, which was very easy to do, by the way. This is very easy to file down. All right, now, of course, I have to test the consistency and the sculptability of this because, like I said, I just really prefer thicker polygels that aren't goopy and that are just harder, and that actually makes it easier to mold than the really goopy ones. Okay, so as you can see, this actually does mold much easier than the Ameli one. It's significantly less goopy. It's still not as hard as I would like, but it's a much easier polygel to work with than the Ameli one. However, I still prefer the Puente one for the sculptability. Okay, so I went ahead and did the rest with the sandwich forms and filed them, and they are looking pretty good. I am very impressed at how easy this was. And here they are after painting them with this stunning Zhejiang cat eye, and of course, no reaction. It's been over 24 hours, and I gotta say, these look great. They feel great. There was no reaction. Now, I know I'm going to get flamed for this, but I don't care because I did it intentionally to prove a point. So I nicked myself right here on the thumb. And now typically this is why I will always do cuticle prep a day or two in advance. Although I hadn't really had any incidents in a while because I no longer use any file for prep. I just use my little cuticle tool. This actually happened during removal. And typically that is where I would stop and just wait it out. But this time I just went ahead and did it anyway, because I want to show you how much formulation actually matters. The person that made that hate video about me a few months ago said that I got the allergy because I put products on open skin. And that is so far from the truth because the set that she was referring to was press-ons. But anyway, how many times have you gone to the salon and they've nicked the crap out of your cuticles and then proceeded with the service anyway? And I'm willing to bet it's every time, because when I was still going to salons occasionally, there was not a single time that I went to a salon where I did not leave with destroyed cuticles. And the service proceeded as normal. And a lot of the times they were also flooding. And of course, you shouldn't have any gel on open skin because it's going to expedite exposure and an allergy. But I wanted to show you on somebody who already has an allergy the importance of a decently formulated product, because look what happened when I used these gels on open skin. Nothing, because they don't contain monomer that will easily penetrate into it. Now, of course, I was also really careful not to get any product on the skin, but it's still very, very close to it. So I just wanted to use that to make the point that formulations absolutely matter. And mind you, we're not talking price here because everything that I used in this video is less than like $5. We've got the Makartt Polygel, and then on top of that, I use the Zhejiang cat eye and the Zhejiang top coat. So again, all cheap products that are just fairly decently formulated. I also wanted to show you all the difference between Gel X and a sculpted set like polygel or acrylic. Now, y'all know I love Gel X, and that is what I do the majority of the time because I like focusing on art and design rather than sculpting, but I do miss my polygel sometimes. And it's clear that, at least for me, because I have small nail beds, polygel or any other sculpted surface just looks so much more natural because it's thinner and truer to my natural nail bed. As far as the actual polygel, final thoughts, great that it didn't give me a reaction. I like this better than the Ameli one, but not as much as the Puente one. However, this is much more easily accessible than the Puente one because you have to order on AliExpress and it takes forever. So I will probably be using this again, but it's still a little goopier than I'd like. And then of course, this sandwich method, I really love this. The undersides of my nails are super clean. We have a little spillage on this finger here, but nothing touched my skin because this guy right here was protecting it. And then it also helped that I left my natural nail a little longer, which I always do specifically for that purpose, so that in the case of spillage, it's still not going to touch my skin. But yeah, I really like these. I love sculpting polygel, but the underside is always a problem. Not anymore. And if you're wondering what brand this is, I have no clue. I just got these on Shein. I don't think there is a brand, but I know there is a brand called Yokefellow or something like that that promotes these things all the time. And they do have these on Amazon. I'll try to find some and link it for you guys. All right, and that is all for this one. As always, if you aren't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell icon so you don't miss any of my videos. I do all of this for free. It's extremely time consuming. And the only way I earn pennies for all of the time and work that I put into this is through you guys' engagement and viewership. And like 90% of y'all who watch my content are not subscribed. So I would really, really appreciate it. It means a lot. All right, besties, let me know in the comments if you use this Makartt Polygel, what you think about it. And also please don't ask me what Zejai color this is because I have no idea. Their labeling system is horrendous. Please fix that Sejai and give the colors actual names or at least like continuous numbers. All right, as always, thanks for hanging out with me and I will see you in the next one.